Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games and part 6 of our How to Play Warcry series. I'm Lee, and in this video we'll be going through the battle round sequence and phases. In this video we'll go through the battle round sequence and phases, and this is going to include one of my favourite parts of the game, the hero phase. A Warcry battle is fought in a series of rounds referred to as battle rounds. Each of these battle rounds is split up into 3 phases: the hero phase, the reserve phase, and the combat phase. Once all phases are finished, a new battle round begins. The victory card will dictate after which battle round the battle will end. The battle round sequence begins with number 1, the hero phase. During this phase, players determine who has the initiative during that battle round and then decide how to use their wild dice. Number 2 is the reserve phase. In battle rounds after the first, reserve fighters may arrive on the battlefield. Our third phase is number 3, the combat phase. Players take it in turns to activate the fighters in their warband. Now we'll go through each of these phases in detail, and we'll go through some examples together so you can see exactly how they work. Let's start with the hero phase. At the start of the hero phase, each player rolls 6 dice. These dice are referred to as initiative dice. After rolling the initiative dice, each player counts any singles. A single is a dice that does not have a matching score on any other dice in that player's roll. The player with the most singles has the initiative. In the case of a tie, the players roll off and then the winner has the initiative. The remaining dice are referred to as ability dice, and these can be used to perform abilities in the combat phase that we'll come to later on. If 2 of your ability dice have the same score, it is referred to as a double. If 3 of your ability dice have the same score, it is referred to as a triple. Finally, if 4 or more of your ability dice have the same score, it is referred to as a quad. At the start of each battle round, any remaining singles and ability dice from the previous battle round are discarded. Once we have our initiative and our ability dice organised, next we'll look at the wild dice. After the initiative has been determined, each player receives 1 wild dice. A wild dice is an extra dice that can be used during the hero phase to add to either a player's singles or ability dice. The player with the initiative first declares how they will use any of their wild dice, followed by the player who does not have the initiative. Wild dice can be used in the following ways. A wild dice can be used to add 1 to the number of singles the player has. In this case, it does not matter what the value of the wild dice is. Any number of wild dice can be used in this way. A wild dice can be used to turn 1 of your singles into a double, to improve a double to a triple, or to improve a triple to a quad. In this case, the value of the wild dice is set to match the value of the single or the value of the ability dice that it is paired with. You cannot add multiple wild dice to the same single or same ability dice. So for example, you can't turn a double into a quad. And you can't turn a single into a triple. Wild dice that are not used in a battle round can be used in a subsequent battle round instead, so you can build up your wild dice and use them in later rounds as the battle unfolds. Each wild dice can only be used once per battle. Wild dice are a great way to seize the initiative. Once both players have declared any wild dice they will use this battle round, count the number of singles each player has once more. If the player without the initiative now has more singles than the players with the initiative, they now have the initiative instead. If the number of singles each player has is now tied, and it wasn't previously, the players now roll off and then the winner has the initiative. This may sound a bit complicated on paper, but once you've played a few rounds of Warcry, it soon becomes really simple and second nature. But just to be sure, let's go through an example hero phase. For this example, our hero phase is now at the start of the second battle round. Both players begin the hero phase by rolling their 6 initiative dice. The players with the Scions of the Flame roll as follows. We can see here that the Scions player has 2 singles, a double with the value of 3, and a double with the value of 5. Now the player with the Khainite Shadowstalkers rolls, and their dice come up as follows. The Khainite Shadowstalkers have 1 single, a double with the value of 4, and a triple with the value of 6. As these rolls stand, the Scions player has the initiative, and so now chooses how to use their wild dice. They currently have 1 wild dice, and choose to spend it to turn their double 5 into a triple 5. They place the wild dice next to their 2 5s with the matching value face up. Now it's the Khainite Shadowstalkers' turn. In the previous battle round, they chose not to spend their wild dice, so now they have 2 wild dice. They spend their first wild dice to turn their triple 6 into a quad 6, the best score possible. They spend their second wild dice to add another single. The Scions of the Flame and the Khainite Shadowstalkers now have an equal number of singles, so there is a chance that the Khainite Shadowstalkers can seize the initiative. The players now roll off and the Khainite Shadowstalkers get lucky. They win the initiative and choose to take the first turn in the combat phase. Before we move on to the reserve and combat phase, we just need to clarify one more thing with the hero phase. On our ability cards, you'll often see something similar to our Khainite Shadowstalkers quad Ensnare in Darkness ability that's worded as allocate a number of damage points equal to the value of this ability. The value of the ability is equal to the value of the ability dice. For example, if we have 4 6s for our quad, the value of the ability is 6. So it's important to note that it's the value that's shown on the dice and not the total sum of the dice. So it's 6, not the total, which would be 24. This shows how important high numbers can be when using our abilities. That rounds up our hero phase, so now let's move on to the reserve phase. The reserve phase comes into play in battle rounds after the first round. During the reserve phase, reserve battle groups may be set up on the battlefield. The deployment card will indicate in which battle round any reserve battle groups come into play. RND2 indicates that battle group will arrive in the reserve phase of the second battle round, and RND3 indicates it will arrive in the reserve phase of the third round. Started with the player with the initiative, players set up the fighters from any battle groups coming into play in that battle round wholly within 3 inches horizontally but any distance vertically of their deployment point. Some deployment cards have reserved deployment points that are situated off the battlefield map. In these cases, there will be a deployment line next to that deployment point. Deployment lines are either the length of half a battlefield edge or the length of a whole battlefield edge. If the deployment point is next to a deployment line, the battle group coming into play in that battle round must be set up wholly within 3 inches horizontally of that deployment line. If it is ever impossible to set up all the fighters from a reserve battle group, for example due to the positions of other fighters already on the battlefield, each fighter from that battle group must be set up one at a time as close as possible to either their deployment point, if it is on the battlefield map, or their deployment line. In our example here, you'll see that the deployment line is the length of half the battlefield edge. It indicates that the dagger battle group for this player will arrive on the battlefield wholly within 3 inches of this deployment line in the second battle round. Now we're on to our final phase of the battle round, which is the combat phase. In the combat phase, the players take it in turns to activate their fighters. The player with the initiative picks which player takes the first turn. When it's a player's turn, they can activate one fighter in their warband. This is referred to as that fighter's activation. The player must pick one fighter to activate if they can, but cannot pick a fighter that has already been activated this phase. If the player cannot pick a fighter, for example if all their fighters have already activated this phase, then they must pass instead. Then their opponent can activate one fighter or pass. Keep on taking turns to activate fighters until both players pass one after the other. When a player activates a fighter, that fighter makes 2 actions chosen from the following list. The fighter can move, attack, disengage, or wait. When a player has activated a fighter, they must carry out the first action before deciding on the second. A fighter can make the same action twice in a row. For example, they can move and then move again, or they can attack and then attack again. Fighters can carry out these actions in any order. So for example, they can move and then attack, or they can attack and then move. They may also disengage and then move, or disengage and then attack. And they may also wait and then either move, attack, or disengage. We'll go into much more detail about these actions in the following parts of this How to Play Warcry series. This takes us to the end of part 6 of our How to Play Warcry series. Now you know what the battle round is, the battle round sequence, and the phases. Join me for part 7, where we go through another awesome part of the game, which is the abilities. I hope you found this video helpful. Please join in and comment below with any thoughts or additions you'd like to make. It'd be great to hear from you. The next video in the series will play right after this one in the playlist, and I'll also put links in the description below to every video in the series. Thanks so much for watching. Please like if you like it, subscribe for more Warcry content like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games.